Good morning and welcome back to the Mountain Medics YouTube channel. My name is Skylar Bainbridge and today we're going to be going over Avenza and breaking it down so we can show you how we use it out there in the field. So without further ado, let's just dive right in.
Thank you once again for joining us here at the YouTube channel. I am so excited to get to go over Avenza with you all today. So just right off the bat, when you open up your Avenza app, it's going to bring you to a menu a lot like this, and it might differ a little bit between iPhone and Android, and I am currently using an iPhone. So when you open the app, it's going to bring you to this page, and let's just start by talking about all the symbols around the menus first, and then we're going to get into a little bit about what they do, how to build a map, and all that good stuff. So up in the top left, this is how you would access your profile up here. Right here, this is going to be your notifications bell in case the app needs an update. That's going to pop up in here. This plus symbol is going to show your how to import a map, create a new folder, and create a collection. And we're going to be going over folders and collections and their differences here in just a minute. If you have a lot of maps, if you have a lot of folders and collections, you can use this filter here and use this search bar just to search them by name or by a symbol that you used in the description of the folder or the collection. You'll notice that down here I have multiple collections. I don't have any folders right now, but I have multiple collections, and in them you can see that I have multiple maps and that I've named them. So here I was on the McKinney Fire in 2022, and I have 2 maps currently still within that collection. On the bottom left, it's going to show you what maps you have currently. If you click on layers, it's going to show you the layers that you currently have, and we're going to talk about layers in just a moment. If you click on the store, this is going to bring you to the actual Avenza store, where there's going to be lots of available maps for you to purchase if you wish, including trails, parks and forests, hunting and fishing in your area, just lots of useful maps there. And lastly is your settings, in which you can edit the details of your account, the display details. You can change the unit of measurement if you wish. So let's go ahead and let's go back to my maps. So when you start out on an assignment, you're going to receive a QR code in your IAP that's going to refer you to the maps you're going to want to download for the fire that you're currently on. Now, confirm your assignment with your medical unit leader and what division you're going to be in, as there's probably going to be a map of the fire as a whole. You'll see different operational maps for different divisions, which is nice because then you get a clearer, concise, zoomed-in map of the area that you will be operating in. With the free version of this app, you can have up to 4 maps at a time without having to pay anything, so you can use the free version of Avenza working with us no problem and not worry about running out of space. So the differences between a folder and a collection. When we first arrive, we're going to be able to download maps, and you can just have them individually here in your main menu, or you can hit this plus button and select Create Folder. Now, a folder is just the same as a folder on your computer, where if you were to open a folder, you could put documents in it, and it just makes it cleaner and nicer, especially if you can download more than 4 maps within the app. Like mine here, I'm going to have, instead of scrolling through pages and pages of maps, I can break it down by incident, and so that's what I like to do personally. Is I'll make a folder, name it after the fire, what date it is, generally the year or the month, and then add those maps into that fire, and then that way it's nice for organization. What a collection does is a collection is the exact same as a folder, where you can have multiple maps in that folder. However, when you're moving from map to map, as I drag back and forth, this is going to allow you to switch from one map to the other without having to go back out and click the other map you want to look at. So it kind of layers all the maps on top of each other. If I have a fire where I have an east side and a west side, and I have both those maps, I can scroll to the left. It'll bring me over to that side of the map and then back over, and it switches between the two rather than having to go back out and select. When you've made a folder and you have a map downloaded and you add that to that folder, be sure to name that map. It might not have the name that you want, and so you're going to click the 3 dots on the side. You're going to hit rename, and especially if it's incident fire map, I like to name them what they are. So, for example, this is McKinney Fire Suppression Repair West. So I know that that's that divisional side, and now I know that that's that map. Otherwise, you might download a map that just is all numbers. It just makes it more confusing for you to have to go in and try and find the map you want. So now we're in a map. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about the tools around the side and how to use them and what they're used for. So up in the top right, you've got your magnifying glasses. These are going to be your search bar. This is very handy, especially if you have multiple features that you add onto your map, allowing you to search them quicker rather than having to scroll and look for them. This is your compass, so this is showing you where north is compared to you. Down on the bottom left, if I simply click on this arrow, it's going to bring the cursor in the center of the screen over to where my position is. You'll notice that there's a cursor in the center of the screen. As you move this around on the map, you're going to see that your location on the bottom is changing. This is your latitude and longitude, and we're going to go over that more of that in a second. But wherever the center dot of this cursor is, that's what the lat and long of that position is. A layer, if you can imagine, is like a paper on top of another paper. So the bottom paper is the map. It's the base map that you're going to be downloading. Now, as I add more trackings and pins, I'm essentially making a drawing on top of that map on a second piece of paper. So, as more people on their phones add pins and locations, and important features that we should know, they're going to create layers themselves. And what's cool is with my single map, I can share these layers and features with other people, and it will download onto their phone all the same pins that I've placed on that layer, and vice versa. I can get pins and drop points from other people on the layers that they've created. For example, if we go in here, you can see all these points that I've made. This is the current drawing that I've made over the map, the layer, and we can even name this layer as well. Using these buttons up here, this is how we would be able to export or airdrop to someone else from between iPhone to iPhone. It's very handy. In the bottom right, you have your draw and measure tool, and this is going to allow you to do a lot. You can immediately click the view in Google Maps, and it'll take from your location where you have zoomed in on that map and translate it into Google Maps as long as you have Google Maps downloaded. You have a draw and measure, and this can be a very great tool for locating and estimating spot fires or LZ areas, and you can use this tool to show the square mileage of an area. If you wish to drop a pin, simply click the pin button down here, and this is going to just add a place marker. And so with the free version, you have a number of place markers that you can use, and they're very handy, as in the fire world, we're going to be using these to help keep track of important locations or crossroads, LZs, and etc. You can always come back and edit the details of that pin later, rename it, and if you want to move it on your map, simply just click and hold that place marker, and then now you can just drag and drop it to somewhere else. So if you already have a nice edited pin with the name of a crew, simply just grab it and move them over here for the day, because that's where their new operating area is. With any sort of tracking or drop point, you can edit the name or the color or features of it by simply clicking on it. Click on the name, and then now we can edit the name, we can edit the style, we can change what pin it looks like, we can add photos of the area, especially for LZs. It's very handy. So once you've made your area of the LZ, add a photo, and then that way when you transfer this over, people can see what that LZ looks like. If we drag the toolbar up, it'll show our location, our tracking features, and navigation. So on location, it's going to show us where north is compared to where we are, our current height, accuracy, and potential altitude. This is going to be super important for you to know. So whenever we're going from one point of interest to another, let's say from fire camp to our work area for the day, we're going to track on Avenza. This is going to record the route that we took. It'll show you how long it took for you to get there and how many miles it took to get there. Why is this important for medical? Well, if I've tracked out my division and all the important roads that people are working on, I can give a very accurate report to a crew member about how long it'll take me to respond if there was an emergency in someone's area. So if I've tracked a road from me to the hotshot crew, someone goes down, they call out, I can tell them accurately I will be there within 8 minutes because I have tracked that out. It will also allow you to know how long it takes for you to get back to paved roads, how long it takes for you to get an LZ, and so that way you can give accurate timelines to command, which is going to be very important for your patient's outcome. Let's go to navigation. And here we can also click on enter coordinates. It's going to be super handy if someone is calling out a 206 and they're using a different format of Latin long than we're normally used to. Remember, the standard for fire is degrees, decimal, minutes, north and west. So here we can type out and input our new Latin long. Also, if we wish to change the Latin long format, simply click on the Latin longitude area, and then now you can change the format in here. Another handy feature is that if you extract your Latin long, copy and pasting, you can paste it into Google Maps, rendering it a trackable area.
We hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned a lot about Avenza today. Once again, if you have any other questions about the equipment we carry or the protocols that we use, feel free to check out the other videos on this channel.